Back inside the Pirate Radio Zoom Room, Clip Rock here with former ECU offensive lineman Fred Hicks today. The Zoom Room brought to you by the Auto Store Group, theautostoregroup.com. Online, you can shop their inventory. Also, Cellular Warehouse, call Toby Williams and his team at 252-799-7051. White Claw Hard Seltzer, proudly distributed by Coastal Beverage Company, and your CBD store next to Duck Donuts on Arlington Boulevard. Fred Hicks, welcome to the Zoom Room. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Hey, doing good, man. Wanted to get you on and talk about what you're up to now, your playing days, and everything kind of in between. So could you fill in the blanks for us a little bit, Fred, and tell us what you've been up to since leaving East Carolina?
After I left East Carolina, played arena football for 3 years out in Kansas with they're the Wichita Force now, I believe, but used to be the Wichita Wild. So played out there. Then around like 2000, I was from 2009 to 2012, 11-ish. Well, 2012, 11-ish. Yeah, somewhere around there. But after that, I've been coaching since then, coaching high school football back down here in the Tampa Bay area. Currently at my old high school, coaching running backs, and I'm supposed to be partaking in some of the run game coordinating stuff this year. So.
Good stuff. And Fred, I know those arena football guys have to play both sides of the ball. You had some experience in that. I'd forgotten. I remembered you as an offensive lineman. I was reading up on you. I'd forgotten you switched positions while you were here at ECU. And also, you kind of, I don't know, switched the script a little bit too, from a struggling program to a championship program while you were here. So you kind of went through a lot during your time here at ECU, right?
Yeah, it was that going, especially coming from, it was a weird transition going from 15-0, senior year in high school, state championship, all that, and then going to a college where, I love the area, but, program that was, trying to come back to the days with the David Garrards and, all those guys who I used to watch all the time on Thursday nights, playing on ESPN. So coming up, we went 2-9 that year. Yeah, 2-9, and just was we had a lot of the same guys the following couple of years that turned the program around. But I think a lot of it was too just we all bought in to a common goal, and got kind of some of the guys who maybe were individuals, either graduated or kind of fizzled themselves out through grades or behavioral stuff. But we just bought in, and a lot of our guys, our class, kind of were were big in that push, and then the class with Jay Ross and those guys and Scotty and those guys helped, combine that together, what we were already doing, and it got us over the hump.
When you make a position change like that and go from the defense to the offensive line, is that you going to the coaches? Is that the coaches going to you? What's that like?
As we all know, every defensive lineman don't want to hear those words that you got to go to the O-line because, they feel like you go to the O-line and die and get bigger and all that other stuff or whatever. But truth be told, I really wasn't. Of course, I didn't want to move because I played defensive line, throughout high school. But truth be told, I didn't play actually organized football until I got in high school, my ninth year in high school. So football was still fairly new to me. My dad played; he played at Tulane and everything, played linebacker. So it was still new to me for the game. And I guess just from playing basketball my whole life when I was younger, the transition to center wasn't that hard for as the movements, but for as calling the mic and mic and the linebacker every play, checking, making sure we're sliding to the right side or whatever, or staying, making sure we're playing being disciplined to picking up blitzes and things like that. That was the adjustment for me. But it's I say it's more mental on the offensive side, because defense you're kind of reacting to what the guys on the offense are doing. So offensively, pre-snap, if you called the wrong thing or forgot to play, that was, a lot of people don't know that. That's make or break with a lot of plays when you see like, oh, what the heck, the offense, why are they going that way? It's like somebody messed up. It only take one guy to mess up a play, so that was really the adjustments, more the verbiage and technical stuff than defense.
Talking to Fred Hicks. Fred, you got some cool stuff on your resume. You forced a fumble on D'Angelo Williams. You got the block for Chris Johnson, of course. And one of our friends, Brandon Simmons, he joins us a lot on the program. A little different blocking for Brandon than blocking for Chris, right? Brandon might run right into the back of you and push you forward. Chris is probably 7-8 yards downfield by the time he looks up. So you had some different backs to block for there.
Yeah, I think that's one of the unique things about ECU. We kind of don't get credit for it, but we should kind of running back you mentality. I mean, even going back to the Leonard Henry guys, Art Browns, all those guys, Towns, those guys. I mean, those guys were good players as well. But like you said, I mean, Chris Johnson. I mean, you get a half of a body on a run play, a zone play. I mean, he's taking it 80, And then Brandon, Brandon was a bigger back, but very patient. And then when he hit it, moving at 225, a lot of people they got to make a business decision on that second and third level if they're gonna make that tackle or not. And then we had Norman Whitley and Dominique Lindsay, all those guys were very good running backs, and all those guys were very smart. So, and I don't think they get a lot of credit for that sometimes. I know we the offensive linemen, we don't get a lot of credit. It's always, oh, that was a heck of a run, but you go look at the film. In the film room we get praised by Coach Shank, who's my old line coach, and our teammates. But those guys make football playing easy and fun because we knew all we had to do was get in front of somebody and they were going to make a big play. So,
but you don't get credit. But when your team can't run the ball and when your quarterback gets sacked 8 times, you get a lot of blame.
That's all I fault there. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
You mentioned Coach Shank. Coach Shank back again here at ECU. Fred, what do you remember about playing football for Steve Shankweiler back in the day?
Man, great guy. Gonna push you. Push you to your limits. Gonna push you to pull out that untapped potential that you might be. How it is when you're right there, but you're afraid to, push it to the other side. He'll definitely, he's definitely great with that. I mean, great with, breaking down defenses and explaining, hey, you got to be here on this play because this is where the play is hidden, and you got to set, just setting up different things. And not only is a great coach, he's a great man too as well. I mean, he did a lot. He does a lot. I know we did a lot of family functions at his house where he brought the offensive line over, we ate dinner and things like that, or and he was always a good guy. I mean, even though I didn't know. I mean, when you're playing for another position, you don't really talk to the guys on the other side of the ball. You say hey, but you don't really get to talk to them. So once I, joined the offensive line, it was love. It wasn't anything that was forced. It was all, hey, you over here, we'll get you on the field, we'll get you better. So.
Fred Hicks joining us in the Zoom room. Fred, the $1 million question. I've had a lot of former Pirates on, and a lot of you guys are in coaching now. And I've asked, will there be football, baseball, basketball in 2020? What's your perspective down there in Florida, Fred, as a coach?
I mean, down here it's not looking too good with the numbers. So,
yeah.
But a lot to do to that too. Us opening the bars and clubs and stuff. I mean, that's when the numbers start picking back up. Sports wise, we're in phase 2. For us right now, we start last week. We were all outside. Now we're back in the weight room with limited numbering. Probably we've got 40 in our first group and I think 40 in our second group, but we haven't been having everybody in the room at one time. So, and even outside doing the running and stuff with them, because that's what I'm doing right now. We make sure we have about 8 feet apart from each other and not piling up on each other. Put some dots, spray some dots on the field where they're 6 feet apart. So trying to be mindful of that. I mean, the heat down here is unbearable at times. So trying to tell the kids to wear a mask outside is going to be very difficult just for breathing purposes and things like that. But right now they're doing pretty good with a lot of the phases that we've been wanting to do sports-wise. I guess for me, and we've all kind of been talking, our coaches here and there, it just, as much as we want to play in the fall, we kind of really just want them to pull the plug and say, hey, let's just play in January and call it a day. Just because it's just, I mean, look at the college teams. I mean, some of those, look at Clemson, like, wow, that number's pretty large, and, I mean, we love the game, don't get me wrong, and we all love playing, we love coaching and all that, but, I mean, at this point, it's killing people, so we don't want to put them at risk, and ourselves too, because we all have families and kids and things like that. So we're just trying to take all the precautions we can that they're telling us. We're doing a little extra too. So wiping everything down and spraying, and then spraying the door handles and all that stuff, even the weight. So we're trying to do as best as we can. So we don't know. We're just like everybody else. Every day it's a new notification on your phone about what's going on. So
changes quickly. Well said, Fred. Fred, great to catch up with you, man. And as I told you through Twitter. I started covering ECU football right around the time that you were playing. You
Okay.
called me sir on
Yeah.
Twitter. I was like, Fred, I'm not that much older than you, man. Come on. But awesome guy and great to catch up with you. And we'll certainly do it again down the road. Best of luck to you, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great talking to y'all and great having me on. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. There's Fred Hicks joining us in the Zoom room, brought to you by the Auto Store Group, Sailor Warehouse, White Claw Hard Seltzer, and your CBD store. We will see you next time.